It's hard to believe what's going on in the English Channel these days, but latest revelations from GBNews shows nearly 4,000 small boat migrants have come to Britain since Rishi Sunak called the general election. Since that day on May the 22nd, a further 3,700 migrants have made the illegal journey, taking the total number this year to more than 13,500. That's a near 20% increase on the same period last year. But is it any wonder the boats aren't stopping when migrants see what's up for grabs in the land of milk and honey? So we already know they're given housing and board, 3 meals a day, NHS dentistry on the house and up to £50 a week spending money from the Home Office. But now, though, GBNews can reveal tonight that the do-gooders at Care for Calais charity are begging supporters for £50 donations so they can buy migrants smartphones. Yes, you heard that right. So the NGO, Care for Calais, strongly criticised previously over accusations it facilitates and encourages deadly channel crossings, which have cost countless lives, of course, even describes the phones as, quote, the ultimate gift for migrants. But tonight, security experts say dishing out phones will only encourage more crossings and possibly be used to facilitate crime when in Britain. The former head of the National Counter-Terrorism Security Office, Chris Phillips, said tonight it's just another unnecessary incentive to take on the dangerous and illegal journey across the Channel. The fact is that many already have phones anyway, and these are used by the criminal people smugglers to arrange transit across the Channel. If all have phones, then it will be much easier to arrange meet times and avoid the police. He went on, of course, many on the boats are not criminals, but some might be, and it will be awful if phones supplied are used to commit crime. Care for Calais appear to be aiding and abetting the criminal groups operating this despicable trade. GBNews has reached out to Care for Calais for comment tonight, but we are yet to receive a response. So, politicians can bang on about their solutions to stopping the small boats crisis all they want. Smash the gangs, they say. Rwanda deterrent, whatever. It doesn't matter. Until the UK stops behaving like an international holiday camp for the world's needy, nothing will ever change. But let's get the thoughts of my panel tonight. Daily Express columnist Carol Malone, journalist and broadcaster Benjamin Butterworth, and the founder of Global Britain UK, Aman Bogal. Welcome back, you three. Damning revelations tonight. You know, not only are these people getting free dentistry, clogging up the housing situation, and also we don't know who these people are. Nigel Farage has made very good points before about throwing mobile phones into the sea, passports. They're now getting their own mobile phones, Carol, courtesy of Care for Calais.
If we have security experts who say that they believe these phones are going to be used either in criminal activity or to encourage more illegal people to come across here, then we should take notice of them. But Care for Calais have been actively undermining this government's efforts to curb illegal immigration for quite a long time now. They've played a key role in stopping the deportation of criminals who have stayed here and then gone on to hurt people and rape women. They have played a key role in stopping the Rwanda flights. This is not a charity's job. And let's not forget, last year, it was the Charity Commission brought out a report that produced evidence of inappropriate payments, misconduct and mismanagement. So this is not just a charity. These are a bunch of politically motivated activists masquerading as humanitarians. They're people who have an anarchist ideology of hatred of all laws and all borders and all frontiers. They don't want any borders in this country, and so they're facilitating people to come here. That's not what a charity is supposed to do.
Benjamin?
These people have had to flee their homeland, their families, their parents, or their kids.
Have they? What, Albanians?
Here we go.
And
There we go. They're fleeing
posh.
France.
And that is an incredibly
Vietnam,
traumatised...
Turkey.
Spending tens of
let
thousands.
Benjamin finish.
Oh,
Well, it's
come
it's
on.
trot to
It's
say this is a
nonsense.
lie.
But
It's
OK,
just a
but you
lie.
have to let him finish. Come on, then.
The fact is they have fled parts of the world where they've left their family and their loved ones. And can you imagine... Do you know what? If you're going to be disrespectful, I won't bother talking.
Come on, it's bakwas.
What you're saying
it's
is
absolute nonsense. They're not fleeing, spending thousands of euros. France is not war-torn. Where are the women? Where are the children? Come on, let's be sensible here. These people are being aided and abetted by lefty activists who are undermining not just our borders but our national security, and they should be booked under national security
Okay,
laws.
another question, Benjamin. What do you make of the concerns raised by security experts that, giving migrants mobile phones like this can only, well, apart from the security issue, it's just encouraging more of them to come, potentially, the economic migrants anyway, coming for a better life. Who can blame them? I get it. You want a better life. But when you've got free NHS dentistry, whatever else, and now free mobile phones, can you understand the concern there?
No. As I was trying to say, these people have left their families and their loved ones, and you can only imagine what a horror that is. And I think it is deeply unkind and inhumane to oppose them having something that could mean they could have contact, with their elderly parents or their kids on the other side of the world. And that's what a mobile phone means. In this day and age, it's the 21st century, a smartphone is a human right. Access to the internet is a human right because you can't function without it.
They set off with a smartphone, but they dump it before they get here because it helps identify them. You know that. The thing is, what makes me really cross about this, Care for Calais would have, and people like Ben would have you believe that most Britons are xenophobic and racist. No, they're not. Most Britons support immigration. What frightens most Britons, quite rightly, is the lack of control, is the lack of security, is the lack of border control, and uncontrolled illegal immigration.
Look,
they don't want that.
I would argue, look, I came to this country as a legal migrant at the age of 8. And every single channel migrant, illegal dinghy-wala, is a slap in the face of every single legal migrant, like myself, who jumped through hoops to do the right thing to make this great country our home. And the fact is, look, these people, yes, you say all well and wonderful, they want to communicate with their families. They're spending tens of thousands of euros trying to cross. You're telling me they can't afford a mobile phone, they would just throw in the channel? Come on, let's be serious about this. Let's be honest.
Frequently, these people have a debt of thousands of pounds rather than paying it up front, and they end up in the slave trade. That is effectively what happens.
So why don't they stay in France then?
And that is one of the reasons why I thought it was so ugly that Suella Braverman wanted to take away the slave labour protections Theresa May introduced that would help these people
so why
to
do
escape
they not
that
stay
trap.
in France? It is
where are the children? Where are the women?
Yeah.
Ben, can I ask you one question? You've alluded to you've said that it's inhumane not to give people a phone. They need to call their families and so on. So why do they then, en route to Britain, throw their phones into the sea?
And their passports.
Well, you don't know that they do.
They do, of course they do.
You don't know that they do. You can't speak for all migrants.
Are you denying that's ever happened? We've got footage. Nigel Farage has shared footage before of that happening in the Channel. So if they need a phone so desperately, why are they throwing that away?
Clearly, they want to have a use of phones. That's why a charity that helps some of the most vulnerable people
But you haven't
is
answered the
doing
question.
that. Well, look, I mean, how do I know if some people have ever thrown a phone away? Clearly, it's plausible. But the fact is that I think they have a right to have something like that. It's a human right, and it means that they...
No, it's not a human right to have a phone.
In a horrible situation.
What a silly...
Okay, let's...
How would you go about your life? How would you do your job? How would you have a connection without a phone?
They're coming to this country illegally, and the majority are not fleeing.
No human is illegal. These people have a right to basic quality.
They're coming to this country illegally. I told you about a poll today.
Well, they're not illegal if they approved for refugee status.
82% of them are men between 25 and 39 who are coming here. So they're not all fleeing because...
And in what way does that make them illegal because they're male?
Well, they are coming here illegally. You know they are on boats. That's an illegal.
Look,
what's the legal version?
Okay,
apply the way lots of other.
Okay. Listen, it's a very simple question that the British people want to ask people like Ben, and that is, well, where do you draw the line? Do you open it up for 800 million self-certified refugees from around the world?
Yep.
Is that where you draw the line? Why is one refugee who's taking the help of serious organised criminal gangs in France? Their life is worth more than someone in sub-Saharan Africa or in Afghanistan. Well, where do you draw the line?
Well, Afghanistan is one of the countries many of these people come from. It's one of the top countries they've fled from. So that doesn't make any sense, does it?
If having a mobile phone is a human right, why aren't we giving out free mobile phones to people in this country who live in this country who can't afford to have one?
I think generally the concern is around Care for Calais because, Carol, you've alluded to it before. The former founder, Claire Mosley, names in a charity commission report.
And let's say what she did. 340 grand was paid into her personal account from the charity. She said it was to repay bills that she had personally paid. That was what she said. But soon after that, the board in its entirety was replaced and new trustees were put in place.
She was investigated for many things.
She was investigated.
By, guess who she was investigated by? Her own sister.
Exactly.
Also, she had an affair with a Tunisian migrant. It's not just Care for Calais. It's this general consensus that around the world, it's these NGOs who are funded by nefarious groups groups who are facilitating these crossings. My family are Greek. It happened in Lesvos in the Aegean Sea. All these NGOs escorting small boats and lifeboats, and all they're doing, it's argued, I mean, I'd argue it, no problem, they're just encouraging death in the Mediterranean,
Indeed.
death in the Channel.
Well, look, I would argue that this is a threat to national security.
Yeah.
Any crossing that is of unvetted people, without any background checks, we just simply do not know who is coming into the country via this route.
So that would be why you're trying to be an MP for the party that's let 800 of them in a day.
Well, that's why I've been campaigning against
How
it.
does that make any sense? You're the one putting in power the people that have let this happen.
On the contrary, I've been campaigning
I don't think
against...
anyone else here did.
I've been campaigning against all this for a very long time, Ben. I've been saying this only...
He's got a point.
No, not on the contrary. I've been saying...
Terrible. Oh, I'm going to go and vote for the people that
Not
are
at
doing
all.
it. That
I've been
makes sense.
saying from day one that the only way this stops is that you pick up every single one safely in the middle of the channel. Look, the French are escorting it to our side of the English Channel. Go and drop them back on the French coast. That's the only way it stops.
The fact of the matter is, if a nation isn't in control of its borders, it can't implement any immigration policy at all. And we are now not in control of our borders.
OK, Carol, Benjamin, Aman, thank you very much.